Well, hey, everybody. Good to see everyone here tonight and everyone online. Good to see you. This is South Carolina Linux Users Groups, Upstate Carolina Linux Users Group here in Greenville, and Columbia Linux Users Group in Columbia, South Carolina. Welcome to everyone. Tonight we have Vimgrep, and we're going to be getting a presentation from Zach Robichaud.
Yes.
Got it right this time. So, Zach, I'll let you take it away. Thanks a lot.
Let's see here. Make sure I got, hold on. Sorry. I opened up a bunch of tabs as we were talking.
And we got into a discussion here, and you were looking up some stuff, weren't you?
Yeah.
We distracted you.
Sorry. All right. So.
I should have given you a little more heads up.
No, it's all right. All right. So. I'm going to say it now. I'm not very good at doing presentations and talks, so I'll do my best. And I'm still learning Vimgrep, but I think it's pretty amazing what I've seen so far. Vimgrep is basically a search and replace that you can do in Vim, and it's built in. You know, it's not, you don't need to install any plugins or anything to get it to work. I was going to show it in NVim, but my NVim is broken, I guess. So I'm going to use regular Vim to do this, but the commands and everything are basically the same. And I'm hoping to be able to show some things as we go through things, as I go through the few slides I've prepared. But I'd like to eventually I'll go through and talk about Vim macros, how to create them, how to use them. And then also combine the macro in Vimgrep so that you can see really how it's useful. So I've been using Linux now for way too long, probably. But this just is kind of a game changer in my mind as far as Vim goes. Now I know there's SED and awk and some other cool, terminal applications that'll help manipulate files, but the Vim macros is kind of this is the part that makes this really useful. So why did I look into Vimgrep? I had a project with something like 5,000 files that I need to be able to remove parameters and doc blocks from a construct. It's a PHP project, so we had some doc blocks in there that we had to clean out and do a bunch of that. And Vimgrep was probably the easiest way to do it. I know you can use like in VS Code and IntelliJ, you can do search and replace, but that's not perfect. And Vimgrep kind of allows you to, like I said, the macros just so nice. Just using regex search and replace to look for things. Using like in the macros, you can record the Vim movements, jumping the lines, and then you get these. I don't know if everybody knows about it, but in Vim you can do CI, change in, I think it is, and then whatever your grouping symbol is. So if it's a parameter, quote, single quote, curly brackets, or W for word, you can place a whole word inside of the special characters. I'll show that in a little bit, but it's very cool because like you can like on a function parameter inside of the curly brackets, if you have to replace the whole function body, you do CI beginning curly bracket, and it'll remove everything and put you in insert mode in that position. So it's very nice for that. It makes doing this kind of stuff really easy. So why Vim over IntelliJ? Because IntelliJ does have the Vim Motions plugin, but the Vimgrep is not integrated very well. So just regular Vim is easier. I like NVim or lazy Vim even because it has some extras that are configured that make it easier to use. And it comes customized with the the tree in the left-hand view, your file view, and all that stuff. It's just built already for you, or configured for you. I mean, so this one here, so I kind of covered some of this stuff already, but this is where I kind of wanted to show some of the actual workings, like how you could do some of the search and replace stuff. I figured I'd start at a basic level and then build it up from there. Give me 1 second to get the file. I had all this open, but I closed it because it wasn't working. But in here, I've just created a few directories and repetitive files that all have the same kind of content. They all have the same thing. They all have a basic typo. Of course.
Oh.
I think it's US. Yeah, that one, test. All right. So you can see here, it's just a simple, RCAT. So it's just some function, whereas function spelled wrong. I got a few parameters in there, and function body where function spelled wrong. Just going through these files and fixing the typo is kind of tedious. And then if you wanted to maintain the capitalization there with capital F, it's like that's kind of a pain to do too, I think. So, and as we know, there's SED. You can do search and replace. So like say if I wanted to just fix, function to be spelled right, EON, function, and replace all occurrences in this current directory. So you see it kind of fails because, there are other subdirectories in here. So you might be like, how do I handle that? So let me just show that it actually did the change here. Oh, geez, of course. So it didn't even run any of the changes. But to do the change in all the subdirectories, you have to do find all the file types. Oh, I'm sorry. Find all the file types, and then you're going to execute SED in some way. So I like to use xargs because I don't like wrapping it with the parameter that find requires you to use. But xargs, it forwards the results to the command. So xargs and SED. Xarg. I'm going to replace the typo with the correct text and look for all of the occurrences and then actually apply the search. So you can see I put this directory into a Git repo so we can show that it actually modified all the files. So if I were to output the any file that test, you can see here that it actually fixed all the typos. But if I wanted to remove all the parameters, like it's a little bit harder, without explicitly typing remove param1, comma param2. How do you do that? But first, if I wanted to go back, if I wanted to use Vim to kind of put the typo back in place so that we can see that, what that looks like. So it looks like Lazy Vim actually did install. So let me make sure I got my, so in here, this is just Lazy Vim. It adds this file explorer on the side. You could search for them and stuff, search for your files in here. And this is what it looks like when you first open it. Nothing special here. But what's cool is I've got this directory opened. So if I wanted to do the Vimgrep command to look for a pattern, some function. Yeah, so it's going to build a change list, I think it's called, in Vim, and you could see that with C open. So it shows you a list of all the projects. Come on. What is happening? All kinds of typos. Still new terminal here since this was being weird. So then yeah, of course. All right. Let me see if this will allow me to do what I need to do. Oh, you have to pass in which files, your file pattern. So I want to start at the current directory I'm in, and I want to search all subdirectories. Okay, now see open. There you go. So now this finds all the results right here. You can go into these and look at each one if you wanted to. So if I want to put the typo back in place, I can apply a macro or a search and replace to all the results here. It's C do. Oh, come on. Yeah, what is that? C do. All right, so C do is going to apply the search and replace to this change list. Change list do. That's how I think about it. And in Vim, it's search and replace is just some function with some function. We'll put the typo back in place. C2, so we'll just double check it. So now you see here, it did the search and replace on all the results. So if I were to go into another file, you'll see the changes done here. Basically the same is said at this point, but Vimgrep has a lot of really other cool stuff. Let's see. So the next thing to kind of cover as far as Vim goes, so the rest of this makes sense, is the too many windows open, is Vim macros. Vim macros are, it's just a macro. Like you can push Q to start recording them to get you into macro recording mode, and then you choose another key to just assign that macro to. A lot of times people just use QQ because it's just fast, it's right there. But you can do any key that you want. It's just a new register. And then to replay the macro is the @ symbol, and then whatever the key you assigned. So with that being said, in this file, if I wanted to create a macro to remove this function body, well, like I mentioned in the beginning, if you want to remove a word, CIW removes the word, but CI curly bracket will remove everything in the function body, and it puts you in insert mode. So it's an easy way to kind of remove everything inside of the function. So if I wanted to record that as a macro, it's Q is what I'm doing here for this. CIW, or see, I messed up. So CI curly bracket, and then just to add a comment line and some text, and then you push Q again to stop recording. So now I have a macro that's been recorded. So if I go back into my Vimgrep and look for that pattern again, I'm gonna look for just the slashes. Unfortunately, we can't see the auto completing there, but let me do this here to make it easier. Vimgrep. So it's going to look for all the comment lines in this project here, and I'm going to look in all the directories and files. And then now I've got I don't have to do the C open command again because it's already open. The change list is already open. But in here you can see all the results, same as before. Now, if I want to do, this is where it's going to be a little bit different to run the macro command search and replace. It's CF do, I think it's like C function do. I don't remember the exact wording, but CF do. And then whatever the macro is. There's another I think that's all you need there. Yeah, CIW. It's oh no. There's a it's like CF do, and there's another keyword that you have to have for it to actually run it. CF do. It's not path, but there's like a keyword. Includes, I think it is. Something like it starts with an I. There's a keyword that you're supposed to put here that actually will tell and it'll tell Vim that you're trying to run a native command, the macros. And I right now I'm not remembering what that is, so I'm not gonna be able to show this.
Is it insert?
Insert. Let's try that. I don't think it's insert though. Oh, what is it?
What are you trying to do?
Is to run CF do in using a macro. There's a keyword that you're supposed to put before the macro. Yeah, so like it's right here. It goes right before the macro keyword, but for some reason I can't. I just can't remember right now. And I didn't write it down, of course. Well, yeah, I didn't write it down.
Normal?
Norm. Is it normal?
Insert one of them. Normal.
Normal.
I just Google. Vim is not my daily driver.
There it goes. All right, it's normal. Thank you. Thanks. Now we'll see here. All the functions have some text in them instead of what was in there originally, a typo. And that's the part I think is pretty amazing. Like just being able to go in here and do CI or record a macro like QQ, CI, curly bracket, remove all the function parameters, escape, Q to stop recording the macro. Vimgrep, maybe match on the opening parameter, parentheses, and then all the files in this directory. I probably escaped that wrong, but you'd be able to run the cdo command on all the each file, right, with that macro. Instead of going to each one and just pushing period or whatever, redoing the macro this way. It's a little bit faster.
Particularly if you have 5,000 files.
Yeah. You can script these things, but it's just why script it? It's already a thing that exists, Let me get back to the we see here macros. Oh, well, that's all I prepared. So
What is your interface? Not Vimgrep.
oh,
The terminal is fascinating.
the terminal itself is just lazy Vim, but my desktop environment is KDE Plasma.
Okay.
On the Bluetooth.
I say my interface not look that way. How do I make it look that way?
It's Capuchin, the theme,
Okay.
because Capuchin is highly customizable and it's very nice, out of the box. And there's so many different colors that but Capuchin's really the star of the show for this one. Looks like there's people have typed. Oh. I know I explain things very well, so there's probably not any questions, but do you have any questions?
Can you extract points of text rather than chasing them?
So with the macros you can, because you can push like Y to yank or X to cut, and then you got Shift
You
V
can,
to.
for instance, pull out all the macros from a library that match a particular regular expression in their load, possibly. Yes.
Oh, run like multiple macros?
So you want that from? You did the regular expression, right?
I imagine you could, right? Because the macros and
You know,
clipboard
you-
history are just
you
registers.
have to locate the function name or something. But then you could scan without.
I see.
I've ended up with multiple functions with the same name that do different things.
Yeah.
And it would be nice just to be able to get them all in one place. Intelligently.
You can
But that, see,
some of the cool stuff of where's my mouse? Some of the cool stuff of using lazy Vim, like you can push the space key here and it gives you a bunch of other useful search replace things. Like when I do the colon, the colon command to run commands. Yeah.
Command mode.
Yeah, command mode. Usually it's down here on the bottom, but up here you've got different grep functionality. Yeah, see, I don't have ripgrep installed. Oh no, I do have ripgrep installed. But it's kind of a wrapper just for ripgrep. And FZF is built into Lazy Vim too, which gives you a pop-up so that you could search through files and functions and.
FCF is fuzzy.
Yes.
So it matches a pattern ish.
Yeah, I don't even know what the pattern is because it seems
in your example, you have some functon, but if
Yeah.
you type the word function, it would probably match that, right?
Yeah,
Because that's fuzzily the same.
yeah. I don't. It does like in MySQL, you got SoundX. I assume it's doing the same kind of thing as that. Would be nice. Like I wish with kind of stinks about this here is I did test all this stuff at home,
Of course.
and
It's the
here,
danger of demos.
yeah, it is
Did
too.
you- Did you pray to the demo gods before you came?
I didn't
That's
even.
the problem.
I should have recorded the screen and just played it back.
Any questions online?
Sacrificing a chicken sometimes works.
Yeah.
I have a unsurprising, this is an actual question. Mine is a comment. When I'm making a macro, best practice is always land the cursor where it was when you started, so that you can repeat your macro like when you stop.
Land the cursor where you start.
Yeah, so wherever you started the cursor, or let's say you want to be on the next one, that's okay too. Like, think ahead of like when you're going to run a macro like 45 times in a row, like land it on the next line or land it where you started, so it always works.
Yeah, I try to make sure that it's on the next chunk or whatever.
I'm usually deleting most of the stuff.
Nice. I think it's N, right? You jump it down to the next line or whatever.
And make sure you leave it in the same mode you started.
Right. That I agree. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that Vimgrep it's nice. So once you actually give it a try and you'll see, and actually use it to replace something like 1,000 files or whatever,
Yeah.
then you'll see it's pretty powerful. Hopefully I was able to show and explain it good enough to give you something to reference when you give it a try.
And you say it's built into all of it.
Yes, yeah, it's just built in the core Vim. I know mine looks different. Mine will look different than what you have because it's lazy Vim, and NVim is also different. Yeah, so regular Vim, VI. I don't think VI has it, maybe, but yeah. So Emacs is great. You ever look at Doom Emacs?
No.
Oh man, that's the way to go. Everything in the kitchen sink. Doom Emacs with what's it called? Doom mode or danger mode or something like that, where it's Vim motions. You could do Vimgrep in there too. So if you have your agendas and all that stuff, you could just do a quick fix.
I decided at one point that like I've been living the Vim life too long and I should learn Max. I downloaded like Max cheat. It was like step one, learn Vim. And I was like, no, seriously, you do any system admin, learn Vim. Now here's how you use Max.
Oh yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And Doom Emacs is convenient too, because it like in here, when I push the space bar, you get some auto completing here, and as you do commands, it'll be more visual about what you're doing. That's what Doom Emacs gives you. Kind of like that.
So you said do me max, and I'm kind of like going, okay, I'm charging on my
Yeah,
phone.
yeah, right. The Space Max, Spacey Max too. There's a bunch of them. The Space Vim is really neat, but Lazy Vim is just a little bit lighter, I feel like, because it uses Lua a little bit better. But actually, I was pretty close to what I said it would take too.
Yeah. And this
Yeah.
is a nice, good, short presentation. So I don't really have much else for tonight. So I have been getting in contact with a bunch of people who said they would do presentation for the next couple months. We're good, including you. I finally got back in touch with you to get us back.
It's only 9.
Yeah.
That's it.
What are the next ones?
All right, let's see. I was just actually gonna look that up. So Zach,
Amazing Clemson.
next month is Jeff McDonald Jam, who will be giving us an update on Empire, which is a game that that's Dr. Sorber from Clemson will be giving a presentation on, I don't really care what it is. That's pretty awesome. He's the operating systems professor that my daughter just graduated from Clemson in computer engineering, and she loved him, and he was the operating systems professor. So I'm really looking forward to whatever it is he wants to talk about. I don't really care, so it's going to be awesome.
That's awesome.
Then we got Bill. And what will you be talking about, Bill?
Proxmox of some variety.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to Proxmox because we're actually going to start implementing something, and I'm thinking about Proxmox.
Nutanix.
Nutanix, really?
Work is paying Nutanix. If
Nice.
I'm making money off Proxmox.
Okay.
But if I'm supporting it and going, hey, do your regular job and support this additional thing, it's like, hey, there are companies that support contracts and spec up the hardware versus me going, hey, what doesn't work, does work together, and how do I find that out? And I find that out $4,000 later, versus just going, hey, it's $100,000. Yeah, let me rack and stack it well. It's a Nutanix.
Right. Awesome. Looking forward to that.
That sounds cool.
And then Jim, how do you see his last name? Ciela?
I think that sounds right.
He's going to talk to us about automating, I'm going to say BS with Linux, but I want to have him change his title to be more family friendly. But it's an automation tool that he does like macros with the web browser and that sort of stuff. So he automates a lot of his tasks that are just repetitive stuff with some different tools. And,
Nice welcome.
yeah,
That's cool.
that's what I got so far. So, but it's been feast or famine. I haven't gotten a lot lately, and that's why last month I was like, please, everyone, talk to me, and now I've got a couple months worth. And Ben, I think you've got maybe something in your back pocket, right?
Yeah, I can. Well, it depends on what we're. I know we were talking about the election security one, but I already gave that like 8 years ago. And
That was
then-
several years ago.
Yeah. That was a long
So-
time ago.
So Ben's got a couple in his back pocket, and I've talked to Olivia. There's a possibility of something maybe. So yeah, we've got a couple months worth of stuff. Is what I'm saying. So anyway, unless is there anything else anyone would like to discuss? Otherwise, motion to adjourn. Anyone online? Hearing none?
I think we're good.
Well, it's good to see everybody. Thanks for coming out tonight at South Carolina Linux Users Groups, and we'll see you next month.
All right. Bye.
Okay, see you,
Thank you.
Jace. Bye. Hold on.
Bye, Ben.
Bye.
Bye, Arnold. Bye, Olivia.
So will they actually still hold an in-person meeting for Columbia, or is that all online?
Since COVID, they have not been in person.
Okay.
Ben, how many y'all still have attending? Would you say? You're still online, I think. Or are you still online? Yeah, you're still.
The sound should still be going through there.
Ben, you still there?